seeing like that split ticket voting really disappear in the state of Montana. Like, well, after Bill Clinton in '95, the Republicans take both houses, or both chambers, the House and the Senate, and you do not see a Democrat even getting close, or a Democrat majority until 2005, 10 years later. And that's the last time the Democrats ever had either chamber, or any chamber, was in 2005, where they had a majority in both chambers. It was a very slim majority, but a majority nonetheless. It was 2005. And then the Republicans would take the House, the Democrats would stay in the Senate in 2007, and in 2009 it was an even 50-50 split in the House and a Republican-controlled Senate, and from 2009 onwards, it's been a Republican majority that's ever been increasing after every election.
Yeah, you have a problem with Republicans or something there?
No, I don't have a problem with Republicans because I worked on dozens of Republican campaigns as data interns for them.
Okay. I don't know. Seems a little bitter, about those Democrats never getting it.
Well, honestly, I think Democrats in the state suck, but that's just me.
Fair enough.
They suck for a lot of reasons, ones we can get into.
We'll have plenty of time for those
discussions. Jacob's seething over here.
Yes.
I just like
to I feel like he might have worked on some Democratic campaigns.
Yeah, just a couple,
That's just one of my favorite bears to poke. All right, Darren. What else? Are we there?
We're at today. We're at today now. So we just covered 100.
Big picture catch up Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a long time.
It was a long time, but it was worth it.
Was it?
I think it was.
I feel like I just sat through like a college history lecture.
You're welcome.
I mean,
well, it's very educational. We said at the start of this whole deal is we're gonna give the get you learned on the rural state
will put
experience.
The information
rural.
Yes.
So
rural.
We've kind of big pictured the last 100+ years, and now we're gonna start getting into a little bit more of the detail recently. So Ty, why don't you bring us into what's been going on the last 5 or 6 years, where we've seen some really dramatic changes in the way that people in Montana vote and the state of our current home.
I don't know, in respects to the last 100 years, perhaps maybe the last 5 years was not as dramatic as we think, but us living through it, I think it feels a lot.
Right, when you're in the moment, it's like, this is big.
Yeah.
Go back and look at it.
We had some really big things. So 5 years ago today would be 2017 December. Do you guys remember 2017?
I remember I was still kind of riding the high of watching the Chicago Cubs win the World Series in 2016.
Let's talk about Montana stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Chicago. Let's not start with that.
Hey, I mean, it was a monumental moment for the entire country.
Okay. Well, I think the big thing that happened in 2017 was the Montana special election. If you remember, our House, the person whom we elected to House got a presidential nomination to be Secretary of the Interior.
Yep, and he was the one that I was a data intern for during his initial 2016 campaign. Congressional campaign.
So now that he's been reelected to Congress, are we supposed to call him
Senator
Congressman-elect Zinke, or is it still Secretary Zinke? Because I think he was technically a higher position.
He was
left.
Not. Yeah, he was not.
Yeah, he resigned
in that
his position
for very long.
I mean, no, he wasn't, because that's what 40 ethics violations will get you.
Alleged. None of
fired.
Oh, come on. He's a Navy SEAL. He just serves a right? Commander Zinke. That's what his name is, right?
Retired commander.
Retired commander.
Because remember, if you're an officer in the military, you don't lose your commission. You just become a retired whatever officer you are, unless you resigned your commission, which he has not.
I really appreciate my veteran pals on the podcast. I think I've spent some time correcting when I'm wrong here. But yeah, so that special election was pretty big for Montans because it opened up an opportunity for either a Democrat or Republican to be elected in a seat, which was elected by Republicans. And we talk about today, currently our state Senate and House seats A couple members of the GOP have been asked to resign, and the Republican Party gets to pick who fills those seats. So it's interesting as you get to more local politics how those processes go. But we see a little bit of that going on here. We've had Greg Gianforte as our governor the last 2 years. And he worked very hard to get elected to the House. There's a lot of changes in reporting. Also, we closed a independent newspaper. The big name Lee Enterprises is kind of like the household name, but we also have some more independent presses opening up as well. So there's some differences in how we receive information, and for the most part, we haven't been reading a lot of the news. We get news, in a few different ways.
Yeah, Twitter, TikTok.
Yeah, the best
Instagram,
ways, the fun ways, the cool ways to get information.
That's how all the kids are doing it.
That's kind of why we're doing a podcast, maybe.
Maybe a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, and it doesn't take very much to get news out there. We're three guys. We're trying to get some of our opinions out in the world. We don't have degrees in journalism, and I think we have a lot of armchair politicians in the state.
a lot of backseat quarterbacking going on around here. That's for sure.
we got some good stuff. We got some. We got a lot of weird stuff. We got some hate groups. Montana has probably the highest per capita of hate groups in the state.
Right. Can't forget the KKK moving their headquarters to Montana because we have per capita the least amount of people of color to white people in the entire country.
Yeah. We had our
The founder of the Oath Keepers right here, just up in the Flathead.
Yep, we had
some of the largest number again per capita of people going to the January 6th.
Oh God!
Which was two. It was two people.
It was two.
So that speaks to
two that have been arrested.
Yes,
for it.
Two arrested for the crime of breaking into the Capitol at the time of January 6th.
Yeah, if you guys know of or heard of Ammon Bundy, he was involved in that Oregon bullshit where they tried to take over federal land. I know, and
see, I told you.
But
he's got to get it out of the way.
He started the school board movements, which have been causing a lot of the stuff going on with school boards. those are funded by Ammon Bundy and his
followers. I'll call them.
I think we should think about how to characterize some of these harder issues as we kind of hone in on who we're talking about, how we're going to talk about those things. And we've had COVID in the last couple of years. That was kind of fun for us.
Well, really, in this state, we had COVID for 2 weeks, and then it was right back to business as usual.
Right. We didn't really pay that much attention to it. We just started working and hanging out. A lot of things happened in grocery stores in Montana, I think.
Yeah, don't forget restaurants as well, too. We had the Attorney General defending people who got kicked out of restaurants. Yeah. He has nothing better to do with his time than defend those individuals.
Or send highway patrol to a hospital to try to arrest hospital workers for not giving somebody something that wasn't actually proven to treat
because there's
COVID.
Because there's no fraud in the state. There's nothing else that our attorney general could be.
Right, and so I think this goes to something we were talking about before. Before, Montana used to exist within a political bubble, and what was happening nationally would rarely ever make its way to Montana in any kind of meaningful way. But today, what we're seeing is it no longer just kind of trickles in; it flows in, and it just kind of goes into lockstep with the kind of just the polarization of the country at the time. Montana is no longer an exception to that rule. So whatever is happening nationally then has a major impact within the state of Montana.
And I don't think we need to beat around the bush. This is 100% because of the 2016 presidential election and what former President Donald Trump did on the national scale, and the way that he campaigned and ran polarized the entire country.
Well, and there are some good and bad with that, right? So although many people are unsatisfied with his politics, he did increase voter turnout. Although
To vote
some of
against
us,
him?
here are probably not happy with how that played out, but more people are getting involved in national politics, which is maybe a good.
I think it would be a better thing if more people got involved in state and local politics.
Well, they are. They're going
I
to
was gonna
school.
say, like,
They're
if you
going to school
if you
board
look at
meetings.
like the Republican Party today, that is where their candidates are starting out, is like the lowest level local office, and then they slowly work their way up to like the state legislature, state house, state senate, and then they run for those like bigger name seats, like the statewide seats or the
That's why,
Congress seats.
like, almost every single one of our current elected officials that are state level or Congress has bounced around those different offices.
Right.
I mean, how many different seats has Dr. Al Olszewski ran for?
And lost
We've
probably a
had-
dozen.
Rosendale has ran for like 3 different things in the last couple of elections. We know that Dane started out in the House and spent
And
one
Senate.
term there before moving over to the Senate. There's the one phrase that I hate because it's so true, but can't ignore it, is the Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line, and that is really starting to show here in Montana for sure. And the Republicans will ask their people to do something, and they'll do it. We've seen it in committee hearings. We've seen it in the way that they've primaried their own people for different reasons. It's alarming how accurate that has become for our state now.
Yeah, and I don't think we're here to like solve that problem, but it's
a problem.
I think it's one of those things that with more division, it causes some issues at home, right? We see a lot more rallies happening, which is like my least favorite thing about the last 7 years. It's just annoying.
You
to
don't
me
like
personally.
the rallies?
I just can't. Like, I just want to go
Which
out.
rallies did you not like the most?
I just don't.
There were so many good
I
ones.
don't like being inconvenienced. I like local stuff. That's how I get my roads cleaned. I really like the street sweepers who come by and like clean up my my roads and stuff. Whether it's like me not realizing there's a big rally on the day and I have to find a way around, or I get stopped by the Women's March, which is great. Or if I'm just going out to hang out, and then all of a sudden there's rows of trucks running around multiple times.
Don't forget the semis everywhere too.
Which
a
is
couple
like,
of those ones.
I mean, you got to do that drive-by parade with your big American flag in the back, or how else is someone going to know that you're American?
Gosh darn right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, working in politics, and it was tough when we had like those weekly rallies are kind of the worst thing for me. I just like when I'm trying to like talk to people and have one-on-one conversations with them, but they also drive by the people who like are on the same side as me, who are being rambunctious and trying to be as clever as possible. It makes those conversations more difficult, like as a political worker. As like an average everyday guy, I'm just like, what, go for it, enjoy your liberties and freedoms. Maybe it mildly inconveniences me, but I mean, like, go right ahead, drive your truck
Right
around,
on.
go peacefully assemble.
And isn't that kind of the point though? Is like you're not supposed to like. I think of it as like protesting. You don't protest on whatever your protesting's time, right? You protest to make it inconvenient for everyone else, which
Right.
brings that awareness to whatever movement it is. You don't just go like rally in some park with like this designated area, so you can only have like a 10-foot by 10-foot area. No one would see your message, and then kind of the
Right.
point of the rally becomes moot.
I
It's
mean,
like
yeah,
the point of rallies
sure.
is to like cause that agitation and cause like stir a commotion
Sure.
and bring attention to the rally or whatever
And
it
it's
is. you're
still
talking about.
better.
I think it's fine. I think it's good.
I feel like you don't like these.
Here's the thing. I know because
Better than people complaining on Twitter.
Well,
Because that
because
does
there's-
nothing.
yeah, no,
It means they're being politically active, which is better than just sitting
These-
around complaining.
these things don't make like they're you can have a huge rally, you can make a good article, you make it in the newspaper, is that going to change anybody's mind?
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
I don't-
No, not
But
most of the time.
you know, a lot